Hello everyone, I am so excited today. If y'all can tell where I am in the outdoor aviary. And you may not recognize it because right now it's covered in plastic, which we did for the mild winter that we have in Alabama. These birds that are in here are called Victorian crowned pigeons. We do have a pair of these and they're housed in here. Now the reason we have the plastic on the aviary, you may say, well, if you have a mild winter, why do you need the plastic? That's because these birds can't take temperatures below 40 degrees. And while we don't have a whole lot of cold weather here in Alabama, there are nights that we go below freezing, and very rarely do the day temperatures not get above 40. There's just not hardly a time when that happens, but our nighttime temperatures do. And therefore we have the aviary covered in plastic to keep it warm in here. And we have this heater, and it's an old oil-filled heater that we purchased at one of the big box stores when we were living in the camper. It did a wonderful job keeping the camper warm, and it doesn't put off any harmful fumes that would affect birds, like so many things do. So we decided that once we enclosed this aviary and it wasn't quite warm enough for them when we had a cold snap, that we would try this heater, and so far it's done a fantastic job at keeping these birds warm. So much so that they think that it's breeding season. And if you follow us, you know that I talked about on a live that how much I would love to see these two birds lay an egg, because in the past they've built a nest, and that was when they were living inside of what we call the purple pigeon palace. The male's typically in charge of building the nest, and he did build her an elaborate nest, which I thought was fantastic. I mean, I would have laid an egg in there in a second, but for whatever reason she didn't feel it was a good time to lay in the nest he built. So last year we didn't have any eggs. She did not lay one single egg. So we're hoping that this year is going to be the year for Victorian crown pigeon baby. They do only lay one egg. They do incubate for about 30 days. So they've already taken steps to indicate that they're ready. They're ready to build a nest. And we have this platform that Jason built. We actually had this same nest when they were in the inside of the purple pigeon palace, and it was up on a 2x4 just like it is here. So we decided to use this same nest and put it out here. Well, we have landscape fabric down on the bottom of the aviary, in which we used landscape staples to put the fabric down. Well, you may think, why in the world is there a staple in this nesting box? Guess what? I thought the same thing. I came out here one day. Actually, Marycarl told me first. She said, Mama, did you put a landscape staple up on the 2x6 that holds the nesting box? And I said, no. And she said, I didn't think you would have, but there's one sitting up on the 2x6. Well, as days have passed, there are now 2 landscape staples that they have placed inside the nest. And that's not good. That's not good nesting material. But the floor of this aviary is covered in mulch. And there are no materials in here that they can use to build an ample nest. Because in the wild, what they do is they gather sticks and twigs and all kind of branches and things that they see fit, and that's what they build their nest with. And there's none of that in here. All we have is mulch on the floor, and we have some plants, but they don't have the ability to pull stalks off of plants to build a nest. So in the wild, they would have sticks that were laying on the forest floor that they would in turn pick up and build their nest with. And that's what we did last year when they did build a nest, is we provided them with sticks and things to build their nest with. Okay, so let's take a further look down in this nest. Now they do sleep up on the edge here, so you'll see some nastiness that I'm going to get out before we put their supplies in here. But y'all look, There are pieces of mulch. This did not get in here by me. And so the only other thing that could have possibly put it in here is the Victorian crown pigeons. There's a feather here. Here's another feather of a bird that must have flown in here. And then more mulch, and of course the two, let's see where the other one is, the other landscape staple. It's over here where the pile of stuff is. So that's not going to build a pretty ample nest. So in turn, Marycarl and I are about to go foraging on our property and gather some things that we think that they would love to use for their nest build. And I try to not, I mean, while they're tame, they're not going to come sit in your lap kind of birds. Now, we do have some seeds that were placed on the ground here that were starting to sprout. You can see over here, those seeds are starting to sprout. Marycarl suggested we just leave them in here because sprouts are good for them. It's not going to hurt anything. And once we take the cover off the aviary and get ready for springtime, the real springtime, we can do something about the sprouted grass in here. But right now, we're just going to let it be. I mean, as you can see, they are beautiful birds, and we just adore them. I can't wait to see if they're going to accept the material that we put in here for their nest. But we won't know unless we give it a shot. So I'm going to go get Marycarl, and we're going to go start this gathering of the materials for the Victorian crown pigeons. So here we go on the side-by-side. We're going to go just a little piece down the road here where we know there's a bamboo thicket, and cut a few sprigs off of that. See if they won't see that as something enticing. All right, so here we are at a little bamboo thicket, and I'm just going to cut down a few.
This one looks nice.
This one looks good?
Mm-hmm.
I probably should do it in the And this is not going to be a Christmas tree.
I can't complain. Thanks for asking.
Well, how many you want?
Get two. I want that one on the end.
Which one?
With the holes in it.
You got to show me where.
Right here.
Right here. The Christmas tree farm saw was better than ours.
Was it?
All right. Is that enough, you think?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to fall on your head.
No, this is enough.
Think we'll be able to get it back home?
Mm-hmm.
On our way home with our bamboo. So we're back at the farm, and it looks like we have help from some couple of turkeys here. Ruby and Ursula, you are good for something. I might have to borrow your clippers.
Here.
Or I might do better just pulling them. All right, so this one's pretty much done for. This looks like a good fishing pole, Marycarl. Maybe it won't be too long before we have water in our pond and we can save this for our fishing pole.
I'm gonna make parrots perches out of it.
Oh, so you have a plan for it. And bamboo is hollow on the inside, and it makes for good bird perches and
Toys.
and toys. Look, there's the little holes, and I don't see any ants in it
I think
anymore.
I got them off.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ruby, you lead the way. Let's put our scissors up and head that way. Okay, so here we are in the Victorian area. Scatter it out some. Now it's going to be interesting to see if and when they do something with this material. You think they will?
Mm-hmm.
You think they'll build a nest?
Yeah.
How soon?
Now.
You think they're going to start as soon as we leave? Well, let's get out of here and see what happens. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode with Marycarl and I trying to encourage the Victorian crown pigeons to lay their very first egg here at the Cog Hill 40. And stay tuned, because this is not the end. We'll be updating as time goes on and let you guys know what's happening with the nest build. Thanks for watching.